The movie opens with a chilling scene. A group of 4 killers engaged in their gruesome activities. One of them is preparing to mutilate a woman, having painted eerie symbols on her body. His accomplices are filming the entire act, intending to upload it to the dark web for other sick people and their twisted audience to watch and enjoy. At this point, we see Seong, a police officer, has tracked down their hideout and is standing outside. Just then, his senior officer, Detective Choi, calls, telling him to just cover the exit points while he arrives shortly. But instead, Seong goes straight inside, probably the biggest mistake of his life. Before he can do anything, one of the killers comes from behind and cuts his throat. A little later, Choi arrives to find Seong lying on the ground, convulsing. Choi rushes him to the hospital, but he's lost too much blood and they can't save him. Choi is devastated by Seong's death because he was his partner and his brother-in-law. He swears to catch the killer and make him suffer the same agonizing death. Now, 2 years have passed, and Choi still hasn't caught the killers. In a meeting, an officer named Min tells everyone that they found the remains of 8 dead bodies at a recent crime scene. The killers were filming this and posting it on the dark web. The captain says they can track them down using their IP addresses, but Min explains that it's nearly impossible to trace anything on the dark web. However, he adds that Detective Choi has found a suspect from CCTV footage around the crime scenes, and they will identify and catch him soon. Then, someone calls in a tip about the killer's location, and they all head there. Inside, they find a man's head severed from his body. The killer escapes through the back, and Min and Choi chase after him. After a while, the killer gets out of his car and runs into the woods, disappearing. Suddenly, the killer attacks Min, then runs off. Choi tells Min to stay back and call for backup. The killer ends up near a cliff, and Choi chases him, but they both end up falling into the ravine. Night falls and neither of them are found. The next day, a search operation is launched, but after a month they still come up empty-handed. The captain gets orders from above to call it off. He reluctantly agrees, but continues the search unofficially. Then, one day, a car accident happens outside the police station. Turns out Detective Choi and the killer were in the car, and they're both rushed to the hospital. When Choi wakes up in the hospital, he realizes that his body has been switched with that of the killer. Looking at himself in the mirror, he starts yelling, and Min gives him a sedative. The killer, now in Choi's body, goes to see Choi's family and acts like he has amnesia. Later, Choi calls a police officer and tells him that he's ready to tell everything about what happened last month. He insists that he will tell it only to Detective Min, as Choi knew that Min is the only one who could trust him. After that, Min is called to speak with him. There, Choi starts talking about some of the things that happened between them in the past. Min tells him that he's done a very good research on them. Then Choi tries to explain to him that he should try to recognize him and that he was his friend Detective Choi. He then tells him that after falling into the ravine, the killer took him to a small cabin, and there they did something that caused their bodies to switch, and the killer was now inside his body. Min doesn't want to believe it, but Choi tells him something that only the two of them know. To find out the truth, Min goes to meet the killer in Choi's body. He notices that Choi's behavior is not like it used to be, so he leaves without saying anything. Min now starts looking for the place that Choi told him about. Meanwhile, the killer in Choi's body goes to see Choi and threatens him to tell him everything about himself, or he'll kill his family in ways he could only imagine. Terrified, Choi tells him everything, his passwords, bank accounts, everything. Min finds the place Choi described. It looks just as Choi said, but he still can't believe they really switched bodies. So, he goes to see a doctor and asks if it's possible for 2 people to switch bodies. The doctor dismisses it as impossible. The killer is discharged from the hospital and goes back to work the next day. Min still thinks that he's the real Choi and starts talking to him the same way, but Choi doesn't respond back the same way. Min reminisces about the old days and how much Choi cared about him. Later, as Choi is being transferred from the hospital to jail, he tells Min to take care of his family because they are in great danger right now, but Min still doesn't believe him. He puts Choi into jail. There in jail, Choi starts hitting his head against the wall, and when the police takes him to the hospital, he kills the officers and escapes from there. We see that the killer is able to track Choi, which means that he has placed a GPS tracker in his body. Choi goes near his house to see his family, where the killer sees him and throws a phone in his direction. The killer orders Choi to find his 3 old partners who betrayed him and told on him to the cops. He tells him if he wants his family to stay safe, then he has to do what he tells him to. The killer also tells him that one of his partners is at the Yongsan station. After that, Choi calls Min and tells him to get to Yongsan station as soon as possible, and that this time he would trust him. When Choi arrives there, this guy meets him and tells him that Johan wanted to give him to the police and wanted to become the group's leader himself. Then Choi asks him where the rest are. In the midst of the conversation, the guy suspects that Choi has changed and starts wondering if he's talked to the cops. After that, they both start fighting where this guy is about to kill Choi, when Min arrives and saves him. Min tells him that he'll take him to the police station, but Choi tells him that it's no use as there is no evidence against him, and they have to get the truth out of him unofficially. So they both take him to that same cabin. By this point, it is sure that Min has started to believe that their bodies have been switched. Choi tortures the guy a lot and makes him tell the truth. At the same time, Min is recording it. The guy tells them the names of his 3 partners and how they used to kidnap people, kill them, and film it all to upload on the dark web. The guy asks why he is asking all of this because he was also a part of all of it. After this, Choi tells Min to take care of his family until he catches the remaining killers. After that, Min takes the guy with him, and Choi goes back to the cabin. Back at the cabin, Choi starts getting severe headaches and starts seeing the killer's memories. Meanwhile, the captain asks Min where he got the information on this killer. Min asks the captain if he has seen a movie where characters switch bodies. The captain understands that Min is talking about Choi. Min then goes on to tell him that this has really happened and that Choi has gone inside the killer's body, and it was him who helped him find the killer. He also said that he will help them find the remaining members of his group. The captain tells him not to tell this to anyone but him. Choi finds another killer and calls Min, telling him to come quickly. There, Choi asks the guy where Johan is, saying that he made a mistake by betraying him. The guy tells Choi that it's all his fault, and he is the one who likes to kill people. Then they start fighting when all of a sudden Choi gets another headache, and the guy overpowers him and takes him with him. The guy tortures Choi and tells him that this is how he used to cut up people, and now he'll see how it feels. Then Choi gets another headache, and remembers the day that he fell into the ravine with the killer. We see that it was actually Choi who caught the killer and took him to that cabin and not the other way around. After that, Choi takes him to a building where he tortures him day and night, to the point where they feel like they are the same person. After that, Choi hears in the news that another dead body has been found in the city, and he gets furious. He asks the killer about the remaining members of his group, but after all the torture, he doesn't say anything. He understands that the people who aren't afraid of death are the most dangerous. Then Choi goes to see the doctor, who gets scared when he sees him and asks where he has been. Choi tells him that he has caught the killer, but even after torturing him so much, he isn't ready to tell him anything. The doctor takes him to his science lab and tells him about a drug that CIA agents use during interrogation. The doctor tells him that after 4 to 5 days of using this drug, a person's mental balance is destroyed, and his state becomes so bad that you can play with his mind as you want. Choi does the same thing to the killer. After giving him the drug for 4 to 5 days, the killer reveals the names of all his partners. But the killer tells Choi that only he can catch them and no one else. Then Choi asks the killer if he would like to catch those guys who betrayed him. The killer says yes. Choi gives him one last dose of the drug and erases his original identity from his mind, telling him that he is now Detective Choi. This means that their bodies hadn't actually switched. The killer eventually regains his memories and kills one of his partners. He then lures Min to the cabin, stabs him, and reveals the truth about Choi's manipulation. Min dies, and when Choi learns of his death, he confronts the killer. The killer lies, blaming Min's death on another partner. Choi, still unaware the killer has regained his memories, asks him to bring the final partner, Johan, to the cabin. Here Choi doesn't understand that the killer is playing the same game with him now. After this, Choi goes to see the captain. There, the captain tells him that Min was constantly saying that his body was switched with the killer's body, and he thought that the killer was Choi. He also tells him that if he had explained it to him properly, he might have been alive. Choi tells him that the killer didn't kill Min, but it was his partner, and that it's a very long story which he'll tell him later. After that, the killer finds his fourth partner, Johan, and takes him to the same cabin. Then Choi tracks the killer and reaches there. The killer tells Choi that he has brought Johan, and now he should make him the same as he was before. Then Choi plays a sound which is supposed to make him who he was before. Then the killer says, "Hey Choi, you think you can just keep playing with my mind and I wouldn't know about it?" Here, Choi realizes that he had already regained his memory and was the one who killed Min. After that, Choi starts beating the killer. Meanwhile, the captain, who was following Choi, arrives there with his whole team. During their fight, the killer injects Choi with the same drug and tells him that his name is Charjin Yuk. That was the killer's actual name. The killer comes out of the cabin and starts yelling at the captain, saying that he is Choi and the killer is inside. The bad thing for Choi was that he came out and was saying his name was Cha Junyu, and he had forgotten everything else but his name. After seeing this, the captain gets confused about who the real Choi is. Choi gets angry and is about to kill the killer when the captain shoots him, but by that time, Choi had killed the killer. The good thing was that Choi was still breathing, so maybe later, everyone will know the truth about Choi.